And now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, CEO of Crowd Siren, Lauralie Ezra.
Hi there. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to talk to you guys about content marketing today. And I'm from Crowd Siren. All right, we're going to get started. So today we're going to talk about content marketing. So what is it? How do you do it? How do you keep organized? So there's a lot to know. We're going to go through this fairly quickly, but we'll stop at the most important part, which is the brass tacks of it. So, all right, first things first. So, all right, so what does content marketing mean? So to break it down, I break it up into two big buckets, right? One is the content creation. You actually have to create content that you'll then distribute, right? So what does that mean? Make cool stuff and then get people to see it. But you need the right people to see it. You need your customers to see it. You need to make sure it's going to the right places. All right, so let's get into a little bit more of that. Okay, so how's it implemented? So if we look at content creation, what do we have to do? There's a bunch of different ways to create content, right? That's everything from a photo to a video to a blog. I mean, there's multiple pieces of content. These are just some buckets, right? What falls into the creation bucket and what's in the distribution bucket. So you might have photos, right? Okay, so now you have someone who's gone out, they've taken photos for your business. Now we have to get them out. What channel do we use? Oh, are those photos going on TV? Are those photos going on outdoor ads? Are they going in emails? So each piece on the content creation side can be paired with how it gets distributed. So let's talk a little bit more about why is this even important? So a couple of quick stats. One of them is on video. Video is really big for social media distribution. It's huge in general, but video traffic will be 82% of all customer internet traffic by 2020. So it's actually increasing. It's getting, more and more of the traffic people are seeing, especially on their phones when they're scrolling, is video. And what we're learning in social marketing space is that what's even more important is silent video. So videos that tell stories that don't even have audio is really important. So that's one quick stat. Oops. Another one is email. So if you knew you could send an email to your entire database and a little less than half of those people would purchase, would you send an email? For me and for the businesses that we work with, it's important that email marketing is a strategy because typically it's almost that rule of halves. If you have 100 people on your email list, and let's say half those people open it, right? Okay, so 50 people open the email. Let's say half of those people click on something. All right, so now like 25 people click on something. And then half of those people go to your website and then half of those people buy. You realize, you start to understand, I need a really big list to make a difference. The bigger the list, the more you can sort of break it down. So when people are purchasing off your list, if they're going to your website, if they're signing up for an event, whatever that call to action is, you're going to be able to pull some monetization from it. And email's still really important. I think about the content reaching into the palm of people's hands. So whether that is, their cell phone, think of it, everyone's on their cell phone all the time and they're scrolling. What are they seeing? They're checking email, they're checking text messages, they're checking their social media accounts. So if you want to get to them, getting right into the palm of their hand is a great way to do it because we know that people have their phone when they're sitting in front of the TV. We know they have their phone when they're commuting. We know they have their phone when they're sitting in bed. So you can get your messages to them literally right inside their home, right inside their bedroom or living room if you wanted to. So some of these content distribution channels really get to your targeted user right where they are, and email is still important. Okay, so what does this mean? Let's not get too overwhelmed with stats. So how can you take all of these different channels, all of these different pieces of content, and organize it strategically? So there's kind of the easiest way to do it is you have to pick and choose. So if you took this list for your business and you said, I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to cross things that I don't want to spend money, time, team attention on, and I'm going to check things that I do, it's going to give you a roadmap. So this is what Crowd Siren does. So when Crowd Siren said we're going to pick and choose, this is basically what we did. And what I would say is, look, if you're just getting started and you're at the point in your business where you want to get a program rolling with your content marketing, pick a few things and do it really well. Don't pick everything. In fact, the only time that you should be checking off everything is if you have multiple teams and it is the next piece which to scale. So for instance, your McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's probably has every single thing going on here except maybe white papers on this list, but they're doing literally everything, saturating everything. If your business isn't that large yet, which most of us aren't there yet, are at McDonald's, then you just got to pick and choose, because when you go down this road, you want to make sure that you can do what you're doing well. It's not just about the quantity of what you're doing. You have to be able to maintain quality, because quality content is really important. So let's think this through. So all right, for my business, for instance, photos, videos, blogs, graphics, emails, live streaming, press releases. So here's what it takes for us to do that. We have photographers and videographers. We have writers. We have graphic designers. And because we have those people can write press releases, they can write emails. Because we have video capability, we can make videos for social, but we can also go live stream, through the different channels. And we have tools to help us, lots of tools to help us. We have fun cameras to go live stream. We have DSLR cameras, for event photography and video. We have writers who, look at the text for our blogs and keep that going. Those people are also writing for press releases. And sometimes that's me. I'm writing the press release. I'm writing the email. I'm writing the copy that we need for social posts or whatnot. Okay, so then how do we get that content out? So what we've done is we've picked social media as a primary distribution for our content. It's really easy to access social channels, right? So if I was to just get started, I probably wouldn't start with outdoor advertising, because it's going to be heftier, a lot more expensive. Unless you're in a restricted industry, like tobacco, gaming, alcohol, you might want to think about, okay, I might have to do outdoor advertising because I might not be able to do some other advertising or distribution. So social media is sort of like the low-hanging fruit. Start there, especially if you're just getting started, because you can access it. Anyone can access it, plus it's a great tool. So we said, what channels do we want to? Now we have to really dig deep. So all right, we're going to pick social channels. Which ones do we want to choose? Now, if you're just getting started, I would say Facebook first is a great strategy. You really want to dominate that platform because there's billions of users on there, and you can really target your messages. So you take that picture, you take that video, you get it out on Facebook, and then you can do really smart digital ads layered over it to make sure that people who are either in your geofence, in your target demographic, who are the right ages. If you're a mom blog or you sell, you sell supplies specifically for maybe college students, then you can target those people on social media. So don't sign up for every social media channel. You really have to know what's going to be right for your business. And look, B2B is really important for social too. Don't think that it's only the play for consumers, because it's for everyone. My company is a B2B business, and that doesn't mean that I need 20,000 fans on my Facebook page. I don't. But if you're a mall, you may need 20,000 fans on your Facebook page. So you really have to think about, which channels you want to go after that you can really dominate with the content you're creating. And what's big right now. So I have the Snapchat logo on here. Snapchat is new. You might not want to try to venture into brand new territory and say, I'm going to try Snapchat. You might want to say, I'm going to go for Facebook first as our strategy. We're going to leave Snapchat to see how it's going to benefit businesses. Even Snapchat is still figuring some of that out. But you might say, oh, I'm an interior designer, or I sell furniture, and Pinterest would be awesome because that's my target market. It's women, in their 30s and 40s who are shopping, who, have higher incomes. I'm going to show them images. So that's social. I kind of go after that really, really strongly because it's my primary expertise. But there's other distribution platforms, right? Your website, that's going to be important. Everything that is living on the internet should also be living on your website. So if you have social posts, make sure those are also on your site. If you have photos, make sure those are also on your site. If you're not collecting them on your company's website, then they're out there. No one else is going to do that job for you. You have to go out and you have to collect the content and make sure it's on your site. That should be the hub of everything. Other blogs, what does that mean? That means if you want a video that you created on someone else's blog because maybe they have a big following, maybe they're your target market, maybe it's the mom bloggers or the travel bloggers, and you want them to promote your products and services, getting your content on their site helps with search engine optimization. Now when someone is looking for your content, they find it in more places on the internet. Google can find your content in more places on the internet. So other websites, other blogs are great for distributing your content. News placement. So if you're writing press releases, if you made a really cool video, send that to PR companies. Send it to news reporters. If they tweet about it, if they reach out and they need a story, they always need content. So if you are creating content and sending it their way, they might put you on the news, which is kind of earned media. You send out a press release, they say that's a great story, I want to pick it up. There you go. I mean, I worked with a client who yesterday we got a message on their Facebook page about National Prime Rib Day. So we had a really active Facebook page. We're posting pictures of the restaurant. And then they were running this contest. The news was running a contest on their page to say, hey, everyone, suggest your favorite places in Las Vegas for prime rib. So the news station reached out to our client's Facebook page, which has a restaurant, and they said, hey, someone on Facebook suggested your prime rib. Do you have a picture? We went through our library of photos, saw, okay, where's the prime rib, where's the picture? We sent them on Facebook, in the Facebook Messenger, hey, here's a picture of our prime rib. They sent it out on both social media, multiple social media sites, 2 different Twitter accounts, different Facebook pages, and it got on the news for National Prime Rib Day. So because we had access to a library of content, we were able to pull it really fast, and it earned us media. So sometimes you can get news placement because you already have the content created. And then email marketing. So again, email is still a really big deal. Someone has to create it. It has to look good. It has to make sense. It has to be strategic and timely. And digital ads. There's a lot of different digital ads out there, just like there are any traditional ads. If you know who your target market is, digital advertising is a really smart way to go, and it's pretty cost effective, but it can get pretty hefty. In fact, any of the ads that you're going to purchase could get hefty. That's why you really want to pick, where am I going to put my budget when it comes to distributing, because ads are definitely a way to get your content out there. So you might be saying, OMG, that's a lot, Lauralie, which it is a lot, and I completely understand, which is why you need to kind of have a plan for how the heck are you going to manage all of this stuff. So here is what I suggest. So first of all, when you're creating the content, you have to plan for it. So pick the areas of focus and really think about, between my time and our team and resources, what can we do? And look back at your list, and you can look at the list. Let's go back there. And you can say, okay, I really, really want to get started with awesome photos. Okay, so awesome photos. We're going to start there. All right, we're going to start with photos, and we're going to get those photos on social channels. That's A. Okay, cool. Then, because we really want to utilize blogs, we're going to create blogs, we're also going to get those out on social. And everything we put, all the photos we put and all the blogs we put are also going to be copied to our website. You know what else we're going to do? We're going to send our blogs to the news. There you go. So now you have an outline. I'm just going to tackle a couple different things, photos, blogs, and I'm going to tackle a couple different channels, social media, our website, and news. So just pick and choose. Don't feel overwhelmed that there's so many options. There are a lot of options, that's for sure. Okay, so now let's go back to how we plan it without freaking out. Okay, so you have a couple things you've decided to do. All right, we're going to hire a photographer, or hey, one of our staff members in-house really knows their way around a camera. Let's play with that idea. Let's see what we can come up with. Let's storytell with photos. So who do you have? What's your team right now? What are your resources? Do you want to invest in a whole media studio? I mean, my company didn't invest in a media studio, but we still have the capabilities because we have really smart technologies. Okay, we got a live stream camera. We got some DSLR cameras. Now we can do even more with a few little tools. So what are you capable of creating? What do you have resources right now? If you have a writer on staff, start there. Maybe you start with white papers, blogs, and emails, and you don't even try to hit photos yet or videos. So the first thing to do is let's create a calendar. Let's look at the days of the week, the days of the month, and think strategically, how long is it going to take to write a white paper? That could take 4 to 6 weeks. So if you're not going to have something ready for 4 to 6 weeks, that's when you say, okay, realistically, someone's not writing a white paper overnight. But maybe they could write a blog because, we've had all of these conversations in-house. If you're a law firm, you could probably bust out a blog in a couple days, and then you have content. But how often can you do it? All right, every Saturday we're going to push out, a blog for the top 5 tips of, or 5 things you didn't know about blank, or 10 things to do this summer. So think about how long is it going to take you to create content, and think about this for your content creators too, because as someone who writes and takes photos and mixes video and comes up with a calendar, you really need to give time to your content creators, a realistic time. For instance, if you're going to do graphic design, you're going to create a flyer. How many people are you really going to involve with the creation of that flyer? A, do you have the resources for the content creator to do it? Do they know their way around Photoshop? Or are they trying to use Microsoft Word for something like that? Do they have the right tools for it, and are you giving them enough time? I'll just say for all of the graphic artists out there, don't give them a day. Give them 10 days, because for design, you always know what you don't like. You don't know what you like. So they're going to give you something. Decision makers are going to come back to it and say, oh, can you change that color? Or I have a preference. I'd rather say this word instead of that word. Oh, can you move the title? Can you make this bigger? Can you make that smaller? There's a process to creating content. So, who's going to do it? Set realistic deadlines for them and give them time to produce quality work, and then have an outline. All right, we're going to do, one graphic every week. We're going to do a couple photos each week. We're going to do a blog each week, and write that out. You really have to almost whiteboard it out so that the team knows what's expected, when are the deadlines. All right, we're going to start the graphic the first week of the first week of the month. By the second week of the month, we'll have edits ready, and by the third week every month, we'll have a new graphic. Maybe it's an infographic. You push one out a month. Okay, now it's created. Now it's in our library and it's ready. Now it's scheduled and it's going out. So what are the deadlines? Give time for quality work. So if you're thinking now about a content marketing strategy you're ready to deploy, I would say look towards summer, right? We're just a couple months away from when summer's going to really start hitting. What do you want to create and get on deck and queue up for a program starting for summer? Now, a couple things we know about summer, depending on your industry. Las Vegas is kind of slow sometimes when it comes to B2B. A lot of people go out of town, but it's big for travel, tourism, pools, gaming, but it could be kind of quiet for law or insurance or some small businesses. But then we know fall comes. When fall comes, everyone who went on vacation is back. schools are in session. There's a lot more messaging to go out. People are shopping again. So you have to know sort of the seasonality of your market and plan for it. So if you say, okay, in the summer, what are we going to plan for our business? We're going to push out messages that are timely and seasonal. You might find a fun holiday here or there, like I was saying, the National Prime Rib Day. Like that's just a fun thing. You can utilize some of that, fun holidays to create content. But you can look now as we approach May to what you're going to deploy starting in June, and then take all of May to create content and start your library so you're a month ahead. The last thing you want to do is say, all right, great, let's get a blog out next week. It's unrealistic, and it's undue pressure, and you won't have quality work. So planning, organizing, decide who's creating content, give them a realistic schedule, and then create a library that you can pull from when you're ready to distribute the content you've created. So some resources that I use, MailChimp we use for email marketing. I like it a lot. It really helps. It's kind of hard to learn, easy to master, where once you really understand it, you can bust out some really awesome email marketing campaigns. You probably want a design eye on your side for that, because there is so much you could do. It's like a blank slate. You want someone who understands design, but you also want to, have the conversation with the marketing and sales people on your team to make sure that those have specific calls to action, that links work, But MailChimp is really great for that, and they will maintain your lists. You can segment lists through MailChimp too. It's really great, and come up with the program. And again, even if you do one email a month, make it realistic and plan for it the whole month. Google for Work, not sure what you are typically using for email. This replaces your email, and it's cloud-based. So if you're working on text documents or Excel like you would typically use, Google for Work is great because you can sort of pull up a computer anywhere and you can all be on the same page. There's also apps for your phone. So sometimes I get into a spreadsheet on my phone and I can see what my team is doing because we're all in the same Excel spreadsheet at the same time. So it helps us organize and plan who's doing what when. iMovie is something you kind of have to learn, but it's really good for quick videos, which is great. It also has an app for your iPhone if you wanted to grab a few clips, put something together, get it out on Instagram really quick. You can add music, so it kind of takes that barrier of video production, and it takes it out of the way. Adobe Photos, if you need stock photos, that's who we use. Sometimes you don't need a picture that you took. Sometimes it's great to add your headline and then go find the stock photo that tells your story, and now you can post a blog. So Adobe Photos is good, and they have subscription services too. And then Premium Beat is for music. So what I say in content marketing is the biggest liability is spelling, grammar, or copyright. So you don't want to use copyright music. You just don't want to make that a habit. A lot of the distribution channels will shut you down. So if you try to put, a Michael Jackson song on your fun video you made on iMovie, you won't be able to post it to Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. They'll say, actually, you don't own the rights to this. So Premium Beat has a library of music where you can sort of scroll through. You can look by mood, and then you can purchase the track if you want, 30 seconds or a loop, and it's nice to layer over some of your content and you own it and you don't have to worry about getting shut down. So those are just a few resources in creating content. Okay, so now that we've sort of tackled how do you do that, which is basically be organized, make sure you have a team, pick the right channels, and start to create a library. Now how do we get it out? So let's head there. All right, so you have great stuff. You have blogs that you're getting written over the month. You have a few photo shoots scheduled to get some content. You have your email marketing, what you're going to do each month for email. And you have a content calendar that tells you, all right, this is when we're going to get things out over, as we start next month. So how now do we get it out? So schedule. You have to get ahead of it. That's the biggest thing. You really have to know that this takes time. And, especially if you have a team, from my experience, a lot of marketing teams are just a couple people, 2 to 3, maybe 4. But a lot of times you have extended help, right? This is why there's ad agencies out there. They can help you distribute content. There's PR agencies out there. They can help distribute content. So even if you have the creators, you still need a way to get what you have out there. Social is great because you have access yourself. Sometimes, you want to get to a distribution list, maybe an email list. You want to have your content, someone else's. These are things you have to plan ahead for. So scheduling things. So because you're ahead of content, we know we're going to talk about summer even though it's still April. You want to go take a picture, by the pool, or you want to take a picture of loungers, or you go and you find on Adobe Photo Stock that there's a really cool picture of, a pool or whatnot. And now you can put your message out about come visit us during the summer. So queue it up. Get it ready to go. You need to make sure it's on the right date, on the right time, that the piece of content is ready, whether it's the picture, the video, that it's been approved, whether it's an infographic, everyone's looked at it, it's ready to go, it's scheduled. This is a date and time it's going to fly, and this is where it's going. It's going on social, it's going to be in our email, a blogger is going to push this piece of content, we're going to send the press release out this day. Whatever it is, you need to know when it's going. This is a good time to edit the content and give it a last look. Hopefully at this point, by the time it's created and it's scheduled and it's sort of in your library and it's ready to go, it's been looked at already by multiple eyes. Every decision maker said, yes, it's good to go. Now it's queued up to go. So now, right before you push it out, give it one last look. So if you're using a scheduler, I have on here resources, Hootsuite, that's one way to schedule for social media. Something we do is we schedule things out, but we don't actually put the right year. We just put the date and time, but we'll maybe push it, okay, we're going to schedule that for next year, but we know it's really going out this year. We just do that so we get an extra look at it before we actually distribute it, okay? Before we push post, we've given it one last look. So then post. So then you're letting it fly, you're letting it go to social channels, you're getting it out in the email at this point. It's been through, looked at a month ago. It might feel like old content to everyone inside your organization, but by the time people see it, it's really polished, everything looks right, and you know not only that this is going, but what's coming next. You know what the next press release says, you know when it's going to hit your website. Maybe you schedule it in the back of your website, whether it's a video to post or a blog. But that's when, all right, it's time to go out. And then last is to amplify. So now this is either ads that you put on it, cross-marketing it on other channels. This is where you have people share it who are inside your organization, whether it's a post to your Facebook page you have them share or more. And I know we're sort of running against time, so I just want to wrap up here, which is some other resources we use. Hootsuite is for scheduling social content. Insightly is more of a customer relationship management tool, but it can help you organize projects. It's not right for everyone. We're a small agency. It really works for us, but there's a ton of tools out there, everything from Salesforce to Asana to Basecamp. Really, you just want some third-party way to organize your content so it's not all happening in email. Resource for Facebook ads to amplify your content. You get really targeted, really smart, really local. And then PR Web, there's, again, a lot of ways to distribute a press release. PR Web is sort of a newer one. There's also PR Newswire and more if you want to sort of pay to get that press release out and about. So I know we've gone over a lot. This webinar will be available. You guys can sort of look through and make your own list of things to pick and choose in terms of content to get started. But now you know, like behind the scenes, how much it takes just to get out maybe a Facebook post or a blog. It's a lot of creation, a lot of time and back and forth to make sure it's right. And by the time you've seen it, someone inside an organization has probably seen it 100 times. So that is all I have for you guys today. If there's any questions, we can do that now.
Awesome. And again, if you would like to ask a question, I see that someone's hand is raised. Feel free to type it into the chat box in the bottom left corner of the screen. You can also feel free to press *7 on your phone to unmute your line so that you can ask your question. If there are no questions right now, I just wanted to remind everyone that feel free to ask a question or let us know. Lauralie, so feel free to just send her a message, or you can always let us know, and we can get you her information as well.
Definitely. Yes, if you guys, if you need help organizing, maybe you need a content calendar, maybe you just need a plan, you can definitely reach out. This is a picture of our office. We're in downtown Vegas. We're really close to the chamber, and this is what we do all the time. So for me, it's pretty intuitive, but I know there's a lot to think about. So this is why I do what I do, because there's so much to think about that we help businesses do this every day.
All right. Well, if there are no questions, I want to thank you so much, Lauralie, and to Crowd Siren for hosting this Chamber University today. And I want to remind everyone that we only have 2 more sessions of Chamber U this semester, so make sure you join us next week. We're going to talk about how to spice up your exhibitor expo experience. Ooh. So again, thank you all so much, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.